Angel Reese says WNBA players could go on strike over salary and benefits.
Angel Reese is reportedly seeking an $8 million deal in a league that's losing roughly $50 million annually. Patrick Bet-David recently laid out the harsh financial reality behind her talk of striking. While Reese has spoken publicly about dissatisfaction with her $74,000 salary, the WNBA continues to rely heavily on financial support from the NBA. What stands out even more are the attendance numbers. Caitlin Clark's games are drawing about 15,300 fans on average, compared to roughly 10,000 for Reese, a gap of more than 50%. So the real question is, who is truly shaping the future of women's basketball? The data tells a clear story, and Patrick highlighted a perspective that Angel Reese may prefer to avoid.
All right, so Angel Reese says this. Rob, if you want to play this clip. You know what I love watching? I love watching her highlights of missing shots. She's got to be the worst.
Did you know the WNBA loses millions of dollars every year? Despite that, Angel Reese is advocating for a significantly higher salary. Patrick Bet-David recently ignited major discussion after breaking down the financial realities at play. He didn't just challenge Reese's demands, he highlighted the harsh economic conditions the league faces as it works to remain viable. And when you look at the numbers, they tell a story that's difficult to dismiss.
Who allegedly has a $200 million revenue for the WNBA. According to my sources, it's actually closer to 150, but what's $50 million? I'll tell you what $50 million is. It's how much money the WNBA lost last year. And that's a little bit better than the year before when they only lost.
The figures Patrick Bet-David shared are eye-opening. The WNBA isn't dealing with a small financial hiccup. It's deeply in the red. Reports indicate the league lost roughly $50 million just last year. Even more concerning, this isn't a new problem. The WNBA has been operating at a loss for nearly 3 decades, prompting serious concerns about its long-term viability and the increasing salary demands coming from players.
MLB, also $11 billion. The NHL, $7 billion with a B. You guys are a alleged $150 to $200 million company. You're operating at a loss every single year. You've never made money. It's called a zombie company. You're subsidized.
Let's sink in for a moment. Angel Reese is calling for higher pay from a league that hasn't recorded a single profitable year in its 27-year existence. Patrick Bet-David summed it up with a sharp analogy. It's like a teenager asking for a bigger allowance while their parents are buried in debt just trying to keep the lights on. The WNBA's financial situation is harsh, and pushing for larger salaries without profits begins to sound less like a realistic goal and more like wishful thinking.
And a better TV contract. They're getting a TV contract improvement for the 26th season next year. And so the minute they are a profitable league, the players should do what baseball players and everybody else have done, is saying, sorry, owners, you're making an awful lot of profit there. I think you should move us from 33 to 40% of total.
You may be asking how the WNBA continues to operate despite losses this large. The answer is simple. The NBA effectively keeps the league afloat, covering the financial shortfall year after year. Without this ongoing support, the WNBA likely would have shut down long ago. This isn't a self-sustaining business model. It's a subsidized league that depends on outside funding rather than revenue from ticket sales or television deals.
1997. According to the reports, the WNBA has operated an annual loss of $10 to $12 million. NBA has owned half of the WNBA financial support. NBA players pay for.
This is exactly why WNBA players receive roughly 1% of league revenue, while NBA players earn close to 50%. It isn't a question of fairness. It's basic economics. When Angel Reese criticizes her $74,000 salary, she's missing the fundamental point that Patrick Bet-David lays out so plainly. There simply isn't additional money to hand out. The league isn't withholding revenue. It just doesn't have it to give.
I'm going to go on strike. In 1994, MLB, NBA, NFL, what's the number one revenue sport in America? What do you think it is? The NFL. How much do you think they make? $17 billion. The NBA, a little over 11.
What makes Patrick Bet-David's breakdown so compelling is that he went beyond criticism and focused on real-world consequences. He explained why a player strike, something Angel Reese has alluded to, could be devastating for the WNBA. With teams already running at heavy losses, even a modest increase in financial strain could push several franchises over the edge. That kind of domino effect could send the league into a downward spiral it may not be able to escape. The blunt reality Patrick Bet-David emphasized is this: Angel Reese is pushing for NBA-level pay without the WNBA generating NBA-level revenue. It's comparable to expecting a Fortune 500 CEO salary while working at a startup that's never turned a profit. Talent alone doesn't change the math. If the revenue isn't there, there's simply no additional money to distribute, and that's the uncomfortable truth the league is confronting.
Is higher, and they're asking for the money. And if the contract on the back end, the revenue, NBA gets 50+% to players, they do 9.3. There's an argument for it to be played. But you're right. If Caitlin Clark gets injured, it's...
If you think the WNBA's financial challenges are the entire story, wait until you see the numbers that show who's actually driving momentum in the league. This isn't about opinions, popularity, or social media buzz. It's about hard data. The kind that clearly demonstrates the difference when Caitlin Clark is on the court versus when she isn't. Numbers don't care about narratives, and what they reveal isn't just surprising. It's undeniable. In 2024, the WNBA recorded its highest attendance in more than 20 years, drawing over 2.3 million fans. That represents a staggering 48% increase from 2023. Growth on that scale doesn't happen by chance. The driving force behind it? Caitlin Clark. When she plays, average attendance jumps to around 15,300 fans. Games featuring Angel Reese average about 10,000 fans, a 53% difference. In business terms, that's not a small gap, it's a massive divide. For a league bleeding money, the question becomes obvious. Do you build your marketing around the player who puts 5,000 more people in seats every night, or around someone demanding higher pay without generating similar returns? And the contrast goes even further. The average WNBA game draws roughly 7,645 fans. When Caitlin Clark plays, attendance jumps to about 15,591, a staggering 105% increase. In any other industry, doubling your customer base would be a game changer, and companies would do everything possible to protect and promote whatever made that happen. That's exactly what Clark represents right now, a rare opportunity for the WNBA to gain real financial momentum. The TV numbers reinforce the same point. ESPN reported a 170% surge in viewership for games featuring Clark. Those aren't just strong metrics, they're the kind that attract advertisers, justify higher ad rates, boost exposure, and bring in major corporate partners. Merchandise sales tell a similar story, climbing 61% year over year. The Clark effect isn't hype, it's a genuine revenue driver. In contrast, games featuring Angel Reese, without Clark, continue to draw the same stagnant viewership the WNBA has seen for years. No big spikes, no national buzz, just more of the usual. This isn't a knock on Reese's talent. It's about what fans are responding to. And fans are responding to Clark. Even Serena Williams has praised her, calling her a GOAT and expressing excitement over her impact. That's not empty flattery. It's recognition from one of the greatest in sports that something transformative is happening. So, while Reese pushes for higher pay, Clark is actually creating the conditions where bigger salaries could eventually be sustainable. The disconnect is clear. Reese sees herself as the headline, but Clark is the foundation of the league's growth. Ticket sales, packed arenas, merchandise spikes, and TV ratings are all rising because of her. She isn't just a player. She's the WNBA's best shot at long-term stability. Even off the court, Clark's value is evident. She just signed a $28 million Nike deal, independent of the WNBA, because brands recognize her impact. Meanwhile, Reese's $1.8 million nil valuation from college reflects social media influence and image, not direct professional revenue. The WNBA's success depends on filling seats and attracting viewers, and the data shows Caitlin Clark delivers, while Angel Reese does not. Patrick Bet-David explained this with brutal clarity. His argument wasn't just that the league is losing money, It's that the WNBA has never turned a profit in its 27-year history and survives entirely on NBA subsidies. So when Reese threatens a strike or demands NBA-level pay, she's missing the bigger picture. The league isn't withholding profits, it's barely surviving. The NBA's financial support keeps it afloat. Without it, the WNBA wouldn't exist. That's not speculation, it's fact. Even a modest increase in player revenue share from 9.3% to 15% could potentially sink 2 franchises overnight. The economics are that fragile. A strike wouldn't empower players, it could bankrupt the league. In fact, the league literally saves money if it doesn't operate. Let that sink in. Continuing to play under financial strain costs more than halting operations. Reese may feel she's negotiating from a position of strength, but she isn't. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark far more than any individual player, including Reese. That's not personal, it's math. When a league is losing $50 million a year and one player can boost attendance and viewership by over 100%, the path forward is clear. Every major sports league has relied on a breakout star to transform the game. Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods. Caitlin Clark could be that transformative figure for the WNBA. Yet instead of rallying around her,